Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel and welcome back to the casual stream with your boy, Face the Kid. And technically, you could say this is a stream because this may be all you see today. Like loads of perspiration. I'm not even that hot, but I'm just a person that naturally sweats. So, yeah, it's might be very interesting. Um, what I do need to do is go get that towel. One sec. Let me turn off this mic. As always, please like and subscribe, share with a friend, colleague, relative, associate, enemy, any and all in between. It is appreciated. Um, but yeah, all right. So I won't give away too much, but we should have a guest uh, jumping onto the stream shortly. Not sure exactly when, but we'll find out. Uh, but as always, what is everyone up to? Shout out to the people in the chat already. Uh, Man like Star Fox WR45E in the building. Salute to you. Right, where's the Tony and Danny sparring footage at base? They both pulled out of the fight. Right, no. So there was no pull out. Basically, when we were scheduled to me and Danny to go and do our spar, Tony I don't think was around, and he didn't give me the details for the gym in time or the times of when we could go in. So I've got all of those details now. We're arranging for the end of this month. Myself, Danny, and probably Tony as well. I think Tony was out of the country at the time, so I'll give him that. But he's also been on a concussion protocol. So yeah, but no, the end of the month we'll get that, and then sometime in July, you guys will see that. Don't worry, man. Like Philip Answer in the building. Salute to you as well, each and every time. North Bank Bren in the building. Shout out to you, Bren. Hope you are good. Mulla in the building as well. Shout out. Bill Knows Boxing. It's a new one to the channel. Salute to you. How's it going? It's going all right. Can't complain. Um, I was a couple minutes delayed. Apologies for that. I was just trying to sort out a couple of settings on this side. But yeah, we're all good. We are all good. And Dodge 172 Doyle in the building as well. Shout out to you. Reese Jones, big up. Thoughts on Brian Norman's win earlier and who is he fight next? I mean, I haven't been able to watch the entire fight. When I actually logged onto the stream, it was just after the fight had ended and Sasaki was down on the ground being tended to. So I saw obviously the replay of the knockout. Violent, very violent, very good quality. But, I guess he was just overmatched. In terms of what Brian Norman does next, I mean, look, he can take all the jabs he wants at Boots Ennis, but we all know that they ducked that fight when the fight was offered to them. So that is what it is. In terms of who he fights next, I guess whoever his next mandatory challenger is. If he's lucky, maybe he can get a fight with Rolly Romero or someone like that. Although Rolly is, I believe, with the WBA. So with Boots going up to 154, he may actually end up being given a vacant title because he's moved up to 147. So I set up a channel. It's been a good experience so far. Oh, good, great to hear that, man. I hope it's good. I'll check your channel out as soon as I finish this. I will subscribe and see what you're about. So shout out to you. Oh, Reese Jones. Okay, I think unification with Rolly makes sense. Sasaki's downfall was his defense. Good KO from Norman Jr. though. Yeah, I mean, look, it's definitely a top 3 KO of the year contender thus far. I'm not sure if I've got that above Opataya versus Naika yet, though. That one still might be my number one. Was Norman offered the Boots fight? Wasn't? Yeah, they were offered. So what was the numbers initially? I think it was like $1.1 million initially. Then I think it went up to like 1.3, and then I think eventually they Eddie final offer was like 1.7, but they was like we want 2.2 to do the fight, and eventually Matchroom went up. They said no, when you don't generate that, you're not worth that money. Um, which is funny because obviously they said they wanted 2.2. Then their very next fight, I think they only got like, don't quote me, but I think it was about 300,000. The fight before that, I think they got 100,000 or like $160,000 to fight or something like that. So at one point they were offered over 10 times their highest purse, and they said that they wanted more, and was talking about how, oh well, we need our fees covered for top rank and all of this stuff, and it was like, oh, you guys are taking long, wasting time. But the money that they were offered to fight Boots, they didn't make it. They've had two fights since that offer, and they ain't made that money in those two fights. Even having to go to Japan, they still haven't made the same money that they was offered to fight Boots. So yeah, but now it's all well and good talking about, oh, I guess he took his boots and ran off. Like, okay, cool, I hear it. It's good trash talk, but ultimately the streets know what happened. You didn't take the fight when it was offered to you for unification. Okay, shorts for now. See if it grows into something. All right, cool. Yep, that's right. Turned down 1.7 because they wanted 2.2. Shout out to Emma. Love when I see Emma in the building. Good KO, but Jin has minus 100 IQ. He deserved that stoppage loss. Star Fox, Luis Ortiz settings. Do you see Usyk winning by stoppage or going to points? You'll have to wait until basis picks for that. However, I did predict that Usyk would stop Dubois in the first fight, and I think I even was very close to the round. I think I said round 10, and he took him out in the 9th or something like that. So, I would lean more to repeat in that sense, but you never know. If if he's got it right mentally to keep chugging away, he could go to points. But I'm thinking about it. Apart from one fight, which was the Kingpin Johnson fight, Daniel's never actually done 10 rounds or 12 rounds. He's never completed a full fight. He's either knocked the person out or he's been knocked out / stopped / quit, whatever. So does he have that mental fortitude to be able to go 12 rounds knowing that he's losing? That's interesting. That's a very fun stat. I guess we'll have to wait and see. Do you think Wilder has anything still to offer? He seems to be saying the same old thing. No, yeah. I think Wilder has a name, a puncher's chance, but outside of that, I mean, he's at the end of his tenure, the same as a Joe Joyce, the same as a Anthony Joshua, the same as a Dillian White, Marius Vac, and all of those kind of guys that are from that era. That I don't really think he's got much left in the tank. But you never know. I mean, look, the Hearden fight isn't really going to tell us anything. But if he gets a nice little win, then it puts his name in the picture for something else. So we'll see. If Boots and Norman ain't fighting and Boots is moving up to 140, do you think it's best for him to fight Virgil Ortiz next? Well, according to Eddie Hearn, they were offered the Virgil Ortiz fight for August, and they said yes, but Virgil's not ready. He's not ready to fight yet. Maybe injury, maybe recovering from something, maybe because his last fight was only a couple months back. So they said that they're going to do another fight. They're going to do a fight in August or early September, and then they said that they'll fight Virgil at the end of the year. So I'm assuming that's probably the December Riyadh season card. That's what they said. But no tune up at 154 there. You got to go against someone that's at least in the, I'd say the top 10, the top 15, like consensus pound fighters. If it's a Brian Mendoza you start off with, I'll accept that. But no one below Brian Mendoza. I'd like to see if he was to take on Xander Zaya's first fight. That would be brilliant. I predict Triple D breaks out the knee pads again that Don Charles has been hiding from him. LR Frosty, we sign my mic. I don't sign anything, man. The only thing I sign are documents that get me money. Outside of that, it's very risky. I don't know what you be signing, but I appreciate it. Virgil's recovering from hand surgery. Okay, there we go. Yeah, did he break his hand against Madrimov, or like he hurt it, I think, or something like that? So yeah, makes sense. He already offered to. No, I said it's only paperwork, but like that makes me money. I can't trust anything else. Seems like Boots is being more loyal to Matchroom than Richardson. Shocking. Well, I haven't seen it, but apparently on the Boxing Voice, Richard Hitchens said, "Look, he didn't really want to get into all of that, but he said that he loves Eddie Hearn, loves Matchroom, and he wants to carry on working with them. So, like, it seems as if he's walked back those free agency comments a little bit, which is understandable, especially after maybe the thing with Turkey where he said, well, we won't approach him unless it's via Matchroom. I mean, look, he's a good trash talker, so he can sell a fight in that sense. But who knows if maybe that's just not the route. Maybe he realizes Matchroom is the better place for him. Who knows? But it clearly seems that Eddie has some kind of beef with Keith Connolly. That is what is what we can deduce from this, because obviously Connolly had he had Alicia Baumgardner, he had Edgar Berlanga, like he also had Danny Jacobs at one point, but obviously that was a lot different. But it seems as if he's like, yo, we go to Eddie, get the little star rub, and then we take it elsewhere. And Eddie clearly isn't really a fan of Keith right now. Maybe there's something else that happened between them that we're not aware of. Parker versus Chisora. Yeah, like imagine if they run that back for a third time, and Chisora has two trilogies where he lost all three times. That's a bit mad. He put out a post saying Keith forever. Okay. I haven't seen that one. Interesting. I sought out a contract, £150 per household appliance signature. Yeah, I could get with that. I need to top up the YouTube money. Shout out to man like Jay Lank. Salute to you. I would like to see Parker versus Caballero. Yeah, I think we all would. I'd love to see that fight, but I know Caballero will take it. I don't think Parker will take that fight so close to a world title shot, though. All right. SWJ, big up. Salute to you. I hope not. Oh, okay, I know what you're referring to there. Keith is using Eddie like a lower rate promotion, and Eddie hates that. Yeah. Yeah. It's crazy. But it's weird though, because outside of with Alicia, it made sense. So MVP, they've really invested in the women's, and that's their niche market. You understand it. But who outside of Hearn, are you really gonna have like a lot of money, investment, and eyes on? Queensbury maybe, but they don't really sign American talent. Golden Boy, you're not gonna get more shine at Golden Boy than you are at Matchroom. I'm sorry, like we've seen the shows and the numbers and the metrics. Very much so that Matchroom is where it's at in that sense. Top Rank, you won't get the opportunities at Top Rank, especially with no broadcasters, promoters. PBC is basically non-existent at this point. They're like a feeder. They're like one of those old feeder clubs from the Football Association. Like the one you used to get this feeder club from Norway that would just give you talent over to the main roster. So it's really Matchroom or quote unquote Ring slash Riyadh. But if you need an in to get into those places, it doesn't look like they have that in at the moment. Could be wrong, but you never know. And Starfox don't be putting that money in a Travis escrow. Yeah, I mean, I'm pretty sure that the Travis and KG money must have matured by at least 97% by now, based on the amount of time that's taken since it was supposed to be acknowledged. Do you think Turkey's no runners has been taken out of context? A little bit. But the funny thing about the whole no runners thing is he hasn't told anyone that they must change their style. He's just saying that we won't support certain types of fighters on our cards. So you fight the way you fight, it just means that you're not going to be overpaid to do so. I think in that context, I don't actually think it's that bad. Like, I don't mind I don't mind the runners, so to speak, if they are strategic and they actually do engage at some points. Like, don't get me wrong, if you're just doing a tracks or laps around the ring and you're not engaging, or you're maybe engaging once around, okay, cool. That's not really very entertaining, especially late at night when you're tired. But I don't mind if you're an outside boxer, if you're an inside boxer, mid-range, if you're an ambush boxer, if you're a counter puncher. I'll watch it all. But in that same vein, if he's saying that, well, if that's the type of style that you normally exhibit, I would rather not give you the opportunity on this card. Okay, well then you get the opportunity elsewhere. Eventually, if you keep being successful, he'll have to use you, because one of the people that he's gonna want you to go up against, they're gonna have to face you, especially if you've got a belt. So, it's interesting that Queensbury has all the top heavyweights at the moment. Yeah, I mean, Frank did a little master stroke on that one. Man, Untraceable in the building as well. Salute to you. Travis, no undefeated, will get any commission. Will not get any commission. I hear that. I hear that. Alright, let's see what else we've got here. School already robbed Turkey's bank. Yeah. I mean, he sold that zero for a nice check. Boxing is hitting and don't get hit. Floyd used to box and hold when he was tired. But even Floyd, like as many people used to say Floyd was boring, Floyd used to stay in range at all times. Floyd was very much, he just was able to stop his opponent from throwing mad amounts of punches by other tactics, because he was that good. But in terms of running, even someone like Shakur, very, very rarely he's put on two very, very bad performances in terms of like not engaging. But even Shakur, most of the time you actually see him, he's in that kill box, he's in the pocket, he's not that far away from range. Like, the fight may not be like action-packed rock'em sock'em, but it's not running. There's a Saudi hit out on Charlie Edwards. I mean, I can't lie, that Charlie Edwards performance was that was running, that was not engaging. And it's weird because there was 2 times where Sonny's actually been in the corner of a guy doing that, Sonny believing that guy won the fight. and each time the referee and they're all like, no, like they're not engaging, they're not hitting, they're either getting caught on the ropes or it's just not nice to watch. But like I said, I can bear it. It's not my favorites, but I'll bear it. But I'm more interested if you've got that kind of guy in front of you. Then I'm more interested in what the opponent's doing. Like, how are you stopping them from doing that? That's how I see it. And he's definitely having Canelo on another card. Well, yeah, but Canelo like draws the money, so like that Mexican American and Mexican fan base, they're showing up regardless. So you got to put Canelo on the card. Frank was planning for ages. Frank Warren, yeah, with the heavyweights. Um, he was boring because he didn't stop anyone. Who are we talking about there? Are we talking about Shakur? Because Shakur did stop people. Let's not get it twisted. And the thing is, he was in a lot of his fights were a lot better than people give him credit for. Like I said, the Nakatila fight and the De Los Santos fight were very, very bad. But if you look at all the other fights, they were good quality. The Heron fight, the Vargas fight, the Valdez fight. Sorry, the Yoshino fight. What's his name? Osamano, I think, or Osamano. He's had like his fights are decent. I've enjoyed the majority of his fights. Pretty Boy would fight. It was only money that was more strategic. Yeah, when obviously the hands are a lot more brittle and he's fighting a lot. He's fighting a lot closer to his walk around weight than his actual fighting weight. So the guys were bigger. Punches were harder. To be fair, most people fell asleep in Shakur's fight to notice that. Yeah, I mean, look, let's be fair, they were very, very late at night. So several times I've damn near fallen asleep on the live streams. Their micro sleeps be catching me. Untraceable. Oh, okay. Floyd was boring because he wasn't stopping people. I see what you said when his hands got bro. Okay, I get you now. Thank you for the correction. But I'm trying to think. All right, so we got the announcement last week for. Oh, and by the way, I was supposed to be in Birmingham, covering the year 5 Rodriguez card. There's a slim chance I still may make it up there on Saturday for the actual event itself. But yeah, I've been waiting on some paperwork to come through for a nice sizable chunk of money, which was going to help and contribute towards my future activities on this channel and some other things. But there's a problem with trying to actually get into the account. I've got IT looking at it because I have to sign some documents. I can only sign them online, and the account isn't allowing me to log in. IT are looking at it supposedly, but it's taken them damn near a week with no result yet. And I'm like, how does it take you so long to sort out a technical issue like this? I'm pretty sure it shouldn't be this difficult. So yeah, I'm actually hoping that when that happens now, I should actually get more money for the time that it's taken. I should actually get a larger chunk, but we'll see. Anyway, outside of that, there is chance that you might get some content from there. I did want to speak with TMA Ayton, Dave Allen, I know was over there, Pat Brown. There was quite a few people that I had interest in discussing stuff with, because I won't be going to Manchester. That's a bit too far away for me, especially in the current situation with this pop that no longer looks like a pop, but it's still a pop. I think he doesn't like boring boxers. In my opinion, it was a warning shot to Devin and a message to those wondering why they haven't been invited back. Josh Kelly, Sky. Well, I mean, Sky, I don't really know. I don't think that. Yeah, I think, look, he's tried it once. I don't think the women are on his agenda. I think it's just culturally they don't deal with women in sports, and as much as we might want it to change, if that's the culture, if that's how it is, for the time being, you got to accept it. Until it does become a thing, you just leave it to not be a thing. Um, as bad as that may sound, but it's not like the thing is that I always find it funny when they talk about the women, because don't get it twisted. You guys know I'm one of the biggest supporters of women's boxing and women's opportunities and stuff like that, but I'm not a believer that they must be on the card like just because, you know what I mean, like you either earn the spot or like you take your opportunities when you get them. And ultimately it's not like the women now don't have any opportunities because of the ring and Riyadh season. Like they still have the matchroom cards, they still have the golden boy cards, top rank cards, the small hall circuits which are around, which is where a lot of them apply trade anyway. Boxer, maybe while when they get a situation back, there's still a couple of people there. So it wasn't like, oh, women ain't being seen anymore. Just maybe they're not on the biggest of big cards. But now they've got their own biggest of big card on Netflix. So let's see what the numbers are for that. And I think that will then dictate how the women are sort of treated moving forward. If the numbers are good on that, say they get about 12 to 15 million viewers, I think that will be enough where they'll get a lot more opportunities to perform on bigger platforms, because they will show that there are eyes on them. And also, let's not forget OTX and Salita Promotions and these places. Like, there's a lot of places for the women to box and to make those names and to make those strides. As much as we love the Saudi cards and that, they're not the be all and end all. And let's be honest, because all of them are pretty much like pay-per-view at the point, so maybe you don't want to be on the pay-per-view cards. You want to be on the cards that everyone can watch, because not everyone's going to pay the pay-per-view. Catchall will never get on Saudi cards now. Well, let's see how he looks against Harlem Eubank, because maybe he has to change his style a bit. Might make him a bit more vulnerable, but it might make him a bit more fun to watch. That's it. You won't see the women on Saudi cards. Yeah, I mean, I hear it. They brought the wrong women's fight to Saudi. Should have been Maya versus Sandy. True. Or maybe well, look, it's pretty much it's a long enough time now. If Raven Chapman wasn't sick that week, like I don't know obviously if it's a common knowledge, but I said I wouldn't say anything time ago, but this was, months have gone since then, and I don't even know if she's what's happening with her in Queensbury. I need to get back in touch with her. But yeah, she was violently ill that week. Like couldn't eat for 3 days. Had very little energy, so she wasn't the normal Raven Chapman that we've seen before. Now, whether Sky could have still done the exact same stuff to her, who knows? But I feel like it would have been a lot closer to the Tiara Brown type situation if Raven had more energy, and at least then the fight would have looked aesthetically a lot better. But yeah, when you got Sky, doing what she does, Raven not being able to do what she does, it just didn't make for the greatest of adverts. But you are very right. Maya versus Ryan, although the first fight was a lot better than the second one, in my opinion. I feel like that second fight was kind of dead in comparison. I mean, Alicia Baumgartner against Delphine Pursoon, they should have tried to get that on one of the Saudi cards. That would have ignited, even obviously there was the head clasher stuff, but prior to that, Caroline Dubois, Bomi Ray Shin, that was quite enjoyable, especially towards the second half of the fight. But apparently Caroline was very ill in that fight as well, so Eddie messed it up for women with Sky. Oof. Well, he does make mistakes from time to time. Although I wonder what she's going to look like now that she's moving down to super bantamweight. I mean, the optics ain't great, because it does look like you kind of got ran out of the division She's like, oh, well, she was competing at a weight too high anyway. But now she's just gonna be like taller and longer than the 122-pound girls. Is she gonna do the same stuff? I hope that she's now realized, okay, I've got to develop my game. I've got to get on the inside. I've got to actually exchange these punches now, and we can see what kind of gas tank she's got. Or maybe she might be a bit more. She might be a bit more exciting. I still remember the best fight I've seen of hers actually was still the one in, and I mean from an enjoyment, excitement, the fight with her and Tania Alvarez. As much as Tania Alvarez couldn't fight worth a shit in terms of technique and stuff, she was just on Sky constantly, and that fight was just funny to watch. So we'll see. Irony is sinks. Rick Reno went on about not putting on shit shows. They've all been pretty. Yeah, do you know what? That is. I can't lie. I never before was saying I wish I could get my money back on those Ring or the Sky show, but there's been a couple of those Riyadh and those Ring cards that I've been like, yeah, I deserve a refund, and I never felt like that before. Catchall is just boring. You will get more eyes on you if you are not on a Saudi card. We need a platform that will show the people on the way up. Well, I feel like that's the zone with places like OTX and Salita Promotions and some of the other smaller ones that they got. But I watch the OTX cards. They're always quite fun. I like watching OTX. Like I just watched Liana Cruz and what's her name? Liana Cruz and oh shoot, I've forgotten the other girl's name now. Yes, I always get robbed in fights. Chapman looked the same against Karras though. Now I think that was just because Karras punches a lot harder than Sky does. She looked better in the Karras fight, but I think that ultimately, after what happened in the other fight, I won't lie, I think she's a little bit shell shocked. You know that sometimes when you have that prospect and they're good, but then they have that one troublesome, whether it's a loss or like that really shaky performance, and then everything, it takes them a while to look good again. I think it's going to be that. Because the Karras fight, I had that fight quite close. No, I didn't have it close. I think I had it 90. Was it 96, 93? I either had it 96, 93 or 97, 92. It was one of them. I think I gave Raven 4 rounds in that fight, but 2 of the rounds were, I think they were swings, so you could have gone the other way if you really wanted to. But I think she needs a confidence builder fight to come back, to be honest. Caroline is better than Daniel. I mean, I used to think that. I do think that Daniel has maybe got himself back in front. But the difference between the two is with Daniel, you kind of know what you're getting. I feel like Caroline's still got more levels that she can show. I feel like I do feel like she's coasting a little bit now. Although the Bomi Ray Shin fight, I feel like has given her a need to have to stay switched on. But I feel like she's more diverse than Daniel is. But I feel like Daniel, at the moment at least, is a lot more effective with what he does. But again, it's that mental switch. Can he stay switched on and active for 12 rounds? We haven't seen it yet, so we don't know. That move down is disgraceful, by the way. Her output was poor at 126, so I expect it to be even more limited now. She's seriously cutting. Yeah. Although, funny enough, last time I spoke to Raven Chapman, she said that she was going to move down to 122 because she felt like she wasn't big enough at 126, and that she makes it so easy that she just felt, let me try 122, but I don't think she was expecting Sky to go down there as well, so that could be an interesting conundrum if they decide to run that one back. I want a reduction in my Sky subscription. Boxing has been nothing but false promises and ridiculous first bit pullouts. I mean, I hear it. Okay, so what I want to do before this guest comes on, if he does come on, I've sent the link, but I haven't. Obviously, I can't. I'm actually using the camera light on my phone, so I can't actually check it to see if he's if anything's come through. But what I will say, right? So we've got the Canelo Crawford card, right? And we obviously haven't spoken about the undercard. Obviously, we've spoken about who could be on it before, and Turkey said, "Look, well, I only want certain type of fighters and whatnot, whatnot." So in the chat, I want you to drop some fights that you would like to see on the undercard. Try not to make them too bait, but I'm gonna give what I'll do, because they're not actually fights that are major. I'll give predictions on how I feel like each fight will go. Um, I'll sort of give that breakdowns of the styles of how they'll go, who I think would win that fight, and maybe I'll do a rating on the chances that we could see it, or the rating of how I think the fight is as a fight to begin with. How good do you think Sky Nicholson is? I think she's okay. Look, I think Sky is. I think she's good at what she does, but she's very limited. And I think we saw that in the Tiara Brown fight. We saw that in the Tania Alvarez fight. But with people that will stand off and try to box with her, she normally just is. It's her arms. She's got very long arms, very long limbs, so she's able to keep people at the end of her range. And her footwork is quite. It's not great, but because a lot of her footwork is like around the angles and a sort of around the rosy almost. Um, yeah, she's good with boxers that people just try to box with her. But that's why you need people that know how to cut the ring and know how to step and cut her off. AJ versus Wilder. Okay. Well, it will never happen on that card, but AJ has his frailties. Everything has to be. We all know everything has to be meticulous with him. His preparation has to be spotless, and then the game plan has to go to plan. He's not really one that adjusts on the fly. He's not a person that, if it's all going wrong, he can pull it back from behind. He is a. I won't say he's not a flat track bully, but he's a front runner. When there's adversity, we tend to see that he can't really adapt and adjust too often. But he is still of the two, he's probably the better athlete. I reckon he's the quicker of the two, bearing in mind that Wilder is about to be 40 years old in October. AJ hits hard. I mean, will the elbow surgery cause a problem? Don't know. Maybe. Whereas I don't think Wilder has got that killer instinct anymore. I mean, look, to be honest, I don't think he ever had the killer instinct. He was very much fighting people that were just put in front of him to get hit. Yes, he had to pull the trigger, but he never faced anyone of a level whereby, they hurry him to pull the trigger kind of thing. Ultimately, I think Anthony Joshua wins. I think he wins it quite well. Wilder is, we all know that Wilder is not the greatest. Neither guy are good at getting hit, but Wilder, he gets stunned very easily off of most things because there's just not enough like meat on the bones, so to speak. Like his equilibrium, his balance, everything is all off because everything is just tiny and small, which is why he normally has to stand with that very wide stance. So it's very hard for him to get out of the way of certain things. So I do think AJ will win that fight. I've kind of always, initially, when it first came around, I thought that Wilder would win. We're talking about 2017 times, 2017, 2018. I thought Wilder would win. But from 2018, like end of it onwards, I thought, Anthony Joshua's got that all day. And there's a reason why PBC and Wilder constantly spoke about the fight but never wanted to make it. What do you make of the sauna problem with the BBBLC and Eubank Jr.? Nothing. I understand what they. Okay, so for those of you who are unaware why they don't allow the sauna, it's because with a sauna there's heat. Basically, there's heat and water, liquids and everything being drawn from every part of your body, including the head. So if you did like if someone was wearing one of those sauna suits up to the neck and down, they wouldn't have a problem because you're manipulating and drawing water from the rest of your body. Whereas in an actual sauna, or where somewhere where the heated, like you're also having a lot of water, moisture, liquid, and stuff taken from your your head. So obviously where your brain is, the fluids that are around the brain to stop it from rattling about, they get pulled out with the heat as well. So that's the reason why they don't like saunas, especially on fight week when you're already depleting your body and it's hard to sort of get a lot of those fluids back. They're trying to do as much mitigation of damage as they can. So yeah, I mean, look, if he gets fined or suspended because of it, he shouldn't have put that video out. Although, to be fair, that video was, I mean, he did have his head exposed, but I guess there was a radiator right there as well, which is probably where the issue came from. Shout out to Mo Ali. Hey base, do you have inside knowledge on where possibly Boxer will end up on TV? Unfortunately, I don't. The information, the last set of information I had with regards to Boxer was that they were offered a sort of a fight by fight agreement with Sky. That's the last thing I heard. There was a rumor that they may get something similar, like on Prime or like Now TV, where basically they go on another app outside of the Zone. I'm not sure if the Zone have made any contact to them, but that's about as much as I've heard. Did you see Azim called out George after getting stopped? You can't defend him anymore. It's the path of least resistance or nothing for him. I mean, I've never defended him, but I get what you mean. Yeah, Adam Azim. Yeah, look, I mean, I don't even really know how to respond to that. It was crazy. And the thing is, I saw the response that George gave. It's like, yo, I'm good over here. Like, I've done more in my career than you can even fathom right about now. Calling me out, what is that going to achieve you? But look, there's another guy in my stable at 140. Like, you can have a fight with him. Look, I guess Ben has got to try to do some damage control on that. Maybe Shane can find some damage control, because you can't be, doing all the Dalton Smith and all that stuff, and then this is what you're doing on the outside. Like, it looks mad corny. Do you think AJ is going to fight again? Or do you think no, he will fight again? Against who? Don't know, but he'll definitely fight again. Michaela Mayer versus Lauren Price. What, on the Riyadh card for Canelo and Crawford? Yeah, no, I don't see that one happening. But that being said, Lauren Price beats everyone until she goes up to 160. Because right now she's bigger than everyone and faster. Michaela Mayer's got a good work rate, which we've never seen Lauren have to work at a fast pace. But Michaela's too slow and lumbering, and she won't be able to cut the ring off. She's got the good jab, but she won't be able to. She's got a better chance against Price than most probably anyone else because of the consistent work rate and her good punch resistance. But Price is just too quick for her. Like, Natasha Jonas should have been a better matchup for Price in terms of speed, but she just wasn't big enough and had been out of the ring, and maybe the ring rust was just a bit, not ring rust, sorry, but just that ring age was starting to tell. Undercard Rolly versus Haney. Devin would win that fight. It's quite easy. Look, with Rolly Romero, it's quite easy to look. He's powerful. He's got that. He's got that. Unorthodox strength. But Devin Haney wouldn't be there for the shots that Rolly wants to throw. He wouldn't necessarily do the laps around the ring thing, maybe like he did against Ramirez. But he could stay a lot closer to the pocket of Rolly without really getting hit too much. So that sauna suit was what Chris used too. It depends on what you class as a sauna. Yeah, but I think, as I said, Dodge, the problem with that is that he had the heater right next to his head. You have to, if you've got a natural, he didn't use a sauna suit. He had like the look, that sleeping bag, sauna sleeping bags all around him kind of thing. If it's the actual sauna suit itself, you can use those. That's not a problem. But it's when you heat everything up and you use the actual sauna, and you've got all of the stuff coming from your head as well. None of it's ideal, but that's like the worst case. That's why they won't let you sit in those saunas. Azim is on joke settings, yeah. Dan the man, hardest working guy on Twitter X, shout out to you. Rolly likely becoming a 2-time 2-division world champ puts the sport in disrepute. I mean, you're not wrong. But that goes to show sometimes being in the right place at the right time pays dividends. Eubank Dr. Canelo fight to fight a much smaller guy in Ben. I mean, there is that train of thought as well. And the rematch would be exactly the same situation. I really got to start doing some episodes again. I'm kind of missing doing them, to be honest. I just don't have the time, or when I feel like I've got the time, other things come up. But tomorrow I should have quite a bit of time on my hands. So even if I do like 2 or 3, and then just release them gradually over the weekend, might have to do that. Never seen so many people elevated to champion in this era of boxing. It's so bad. Yeah, I feel that I can't lie. If you become interim champion, I feel as if your next fight, you shouldn't be the champion. You should still have to fight that person, and the belt. You can, the belt is on the line in that title fight, but you shouldn't actually be the champion. There shouldn't be any elevation. You should have to fight for the title, but I guess they say, well, technically, if you fight for the interim title, then that's as good as fighting for the title. So when the champion's not there, you get elevated. I hear it, but I feel like any full championship should always be won in the ring, and the interim just gives you the opportunity to win the belt in the ring in your next fight if the championship goes vacant or the champ gets stripped or whatever. It's my opinion. I could be wrong. As much as I like Kern, I've got no sympathy for regarding Hitchens doing the whole free agent call out. I hear it. I mean, look, it's, loyalty can't just, as Eddie says, loyalty is one thing, but sometimes he hasn't necessarily been that loyal to fighters, especially those that haven't maybe won certain fights and they've maybe still got fights on their deal. Apart from money, do you see a valid reason for Eubank versus Ben too? Yeah, the fact that it was a very, very good fight. It was a great fight to watch. So run it back. And if you can get a nice 1-1, you get the opportunity to do a trilogy. So yeah, I mean, look, money is the main incentive, but ultimately the narrative and everything created after the first one was reason enough to do it again. I'll definitely watch it again. Azim with Uncle Frank will be guided far better. Probably. Probably a random one, but Fulton versus Neary. Well, no, Fulton's taking on Shaki Foster at 130. So Luis Neary's at 122. So those two, that fight can't really happen. So I wouldn't even bother trying to break that one down. Eddie just wants to make that money back from Hitchens. Yeah, I hear it. He's probably got a decent chance of doing it now. I think the belts just hold no real value these days. I mean, there is also that. That's a very fair statement. Has anyone seen Ben Shalom? Nope. He's probably over in Jamaica somewhere. Getting back to the roots. He'll be back soon enough. Elevation should be outlawed. You have to fight for it. Yeah, I agree. Like, if you're interim, that just means that you get the opportunity, the first opportunity to fight for the belt when it becomes vacated. I don't think you should be elevated to it, but there shouldn't even be an interim title. No need at all. There are times when there is need for interim champion. I will, because it has happened before. So when the actual champion is injured, like as in properly injured and is unable to compete for whatever reason, I do believe that you should be able to have an interim champion that is, the champion while the other champion is out. Then that champion, after a period of time, say 8 to 18 months, somewhere in between there, if it's established that he won't be able to return in that sort of time or in that time frame, then the interim champion should then have the right in his next fight to be able to fight for the full title, with the other champion being made obviously champion in recess or champion emeritus. And then when he comes back, his first fight back, he can fight the interim champion for his belt back, or for the right to be called the champ. Or if you're going to have a champion in recess, then you should be able to have the interim champion, who basically he assumes the duties of the champion, but it's only under the proviso of until the champion in recess comes back to the ring. But either way, even if the full champion vacates that title, then the next fight that the interim champion faces will be for the full title, and they have the opportunity to win the full title then. That's how I see it should work, but it should never just be elevated to full champion. That is one thing I agree with. Saw him in IKEA buying curtains. Who did you see in IKEA buying curtains? Oh, Ben Shalom. Blackout curtains. He must be in a darker room than AJ right now. Fulton better be in his Timberlands again. Yeah, I can't lie. That was good quality Fulton right there in the jeans and Tim's combo. I've never seen Tim boxing boots before, but they look kind of cool still. In those instances, yeah, but when the champion is active, there's just no need. 100%. That I do agree with you, Emma. 100%. Although a lot of these interim titles got pulled because a lot of the champions were only fighting like once a year, and then was either doing unifications or fighting in rematch clauses. So I feel like the immediate rematch clause is also something that needs to be banned, or it should be banned for title fights. If you're fighting for a title, no immediate rematch clause. You have the ability, obviously, to negotiate a rematch if it's good enough, but there shouldn't be any rematch clauses in those, whether you're having a voluntary or a mandatory. It shouldn't matter. There should be no. And the thing is, if you haven't got a rematch clause, I feel like the champion or the other boxer will take things a lot more seriously, because they don't want to lose the belt. You could be having a really bad day and say, "Oh, you know what? I'll take the loss here. I'll just reactivate my rematch, and then I'll get it back in the next fight." No, I want to see you do what it takes to be a champion and keep that belt in that fight. So yeah, In other big matches or whatever, cool. But in title fights, I feel that there shouldn't be any immediate rematch clause. You should have to either earn the rematch or the fight is so good it deserves an immediate rematch. You do it that way. Same like Better Beef and Bivol. There was no rematch clause, but they both agreed to the rematch because it was such a good fight. Do you think Fury comes back, and if so, who would he fight? He'll probably come back, and Tyson, if you knowing him, he'll probably fight Dave Allen. Come come back, fight Dave Allen in his fight, and then he'll probably have a big fight after that, and then retire again. Or he might come back and call out Derek Chisora for one last ride into the sun. Shout out to Aaron. Are you attending the show in the best city in the world on Saturday? Well, there's no shows in Puerto Plata right now, so I don't know. Birmingham. Oh, Birmingham. Oh, we're not even Birmingham, Alabama. Like just Birmingham, West Midlands. There's a chance I might be there. I should have been there now. As I was saying earlier on in the show, I was waiting on some finances to come through, which would have facilitated the trip, but those have been delayed indefinitely. I will get them, but I don't know when. So there's a slim chance I might go to the show, but there's more likely chance that I won't, and I'll just watch it from home. But I might do a live watch along for the last hour and a half of it or whatever. And Jordan Thompson is coming back September, October heavyweight. Do you have hope for him? Um, Look, Jordan's got some decent tools. He's got power. At heavyweight, I think he would be a slightly better proposition because he will be faster than the majority of the heavyweights that are there. But I don't know what his level is because I haven't quite seen it yet. That being said, he's also been out of the ring for nearly, it feels like almost 3 years. It's probably like two and a bit, but that's a long time. Now at heavyweight, maybe it's not as bad, but timing is going to be off. Maybe resistance that's actually taking punches. That could be a thing. So there's a lot to consider. How do you feel about snack affiliated boxers, Devin Shakur, Bud? Um, in what sense? I've got no real feelings about them. I think they're all good quality fighters. I mean, if you're asking me, do I feel like maybe they're on stuff? They could be. Most boxers you would think do have some kind of supplements, whether legal or sort of non-legal, but they ain't been caught. So as long as their tests come back negative, keep doing what you're doing. Is Allen fighting TKV next for the vacant British? It's a fight that's being spoken about. It's not confirmed. There's some other fights that Dave Allen has sort of, I won't say pending, but some other fights that are kind of in the pipeline, which people are looking at. But that is probably the most likely fight that he'll have next. It'll probably be the most economical one for them to do in the UK because as much as Eddie says that he overpays or he loses money in fights, he doesn't. Him and Frank Smith don't like to overpay fighters, so they very rarely will stomp up big cash for opportunities, especially not these days. What did you think of TKV and Adelie's fight, Emma? Yeah, let me know what you thought about that. Obviously, prior to the controversial ending, do you think ped use is rampant in boxing or not? Oh yeah, it's definitely rampant. There's a lot of people that are using that ain't been caught. Um, some people just time their cycles perfectly, others don't, and then some people aren't on them. It just is what it is. The only level playing field will always be just to allow all the enhancers. But then it obviously comes down to who's got the most money for the best quality enhancers. But to be honest, and as bad as this might sound, that's the same as it is now anyway, because you've got obviously legal and safe supplements that you're allowed to take, and then others, others that you're not. But then the boxers that are part-time or that have day jobs as well, like traders, roofers, or whatever, they ain't got the money to buy the top quality supplements. They're saying like, someone like Josh Padley can't buy or doesn't have access to the same level of supplements or equipment as Anthony Joshua. So it's never quite going to be a level playing field anyway. You might as well just... the thing is, I know it sounds irresponsible saying I'll just make it the wild, wild west because, people's lives are on the line or whatnot, but that's the only way that you can truly level the playing field, is just allow everyone access to everything. Or literally say, you're not allowed to even take like BCAAs. You're not allowed to... The only thing you're allowed to eat is actual food and water. Like, no creatine, no monohydrates, no protein shakes, like nothing. You're not allowed to take anything at all apart from just the food that you eat and water. And then maybe that would stop things, but who knows. TKV didn't want to engage. Adelier was just looking for the one shot instead of working to get the shot. I was just happy the fight ended, to be honest. I hear that. TKV versus Allen is a terrible matchup for Allen. He gets outboxed quite easily in a boring fight. Well, Allen actually said that he thinks that fight's the best quality fight for him. He says that he sees what TKV does and he knows how to get the best out of that. So I guess we'll wait and see. Which weight class do you think is the most likely to have an undisputed champion next whenever that happens? So one that doesn't currently have an undisputed champion. Probably I would say either 130 or cruiserweight. Well, actually, no, technically heavyweight, because we're about to get that in Dubois and Usyk. That's guaranteed. So, yeah. But if you're excluding the heavyweights, then I would say cruiserweight or super featherweight, in my opinion. Zero tolerance in punishments would help. Yep. I mean, that's also very true. And maybe what we should have, there shouldn't... When we say zero tolerance, you don't get the chance to, my supplement was tainted or anything like that. Maybe it has to be, if it's in your system, regardless of how it got there, not even strict liability, just the fact that if you chose to take a supplement, regardless of whether it was announced on the bottle or whatever, like, your ban is this. The only way you get off of that ban is through maybe court proceedings. Maybe you sue the supplement company or something, and you get a settlement that way, and maybe that's the money you have to then live on until you're allowed to come back to the sport. That might be the only way to do it, which would be unfair, because there are times when people, there's things that haven't been disclosed in supplements, there's been cross-contamination and all that. But then again, if you're taking it, you're running the risk that it may not be clean. I'm surprised Dana White hasn't spearheaded a crackdown boxing league before now to get in the game. Oh, cracked out. Benavidez versus Smith. Because that fight is supposed to be quite close to possibly being made, I won't talk about how I see that fight going, but I think Callum Smith might be the most dangerous opponent for David Benavidez right now. That's what I'll say. You think 154? Well, no, because Fundora just gave up a belt at 154, so there's no. Every championship is only got. There's only one person holding a single championship, so I don't see that being the next one to be fully undisputed, or not anytime soon, anyway. What do you think is next for Sandy? Don't think she can do. Don't think she can do anything about her fight IQ. Yeah, I'm not really sure what happens next with Sandy, to be honest. She's got some fights that she can have, but it seems like in terms of being able to fight smart, and I don't know, she just seems like it's either brawl or nothing at this point. Especially when she said, "Oh, that I was trying to box with Michaela in those first." That didn't look like good boxing, and you're not quick enough to counter punch. You can't box off the back foot. Like you did it one time against Erica Farias, but that was it, and that was only because she was so small compared to you. Okay, maybe not heavyweight then. Yeah, then I think 130 or cruiserweight will be the next um, undisputed, in my opinion. After Usyk, who do you think is the best heavyweight at the moment? Well, technically, I guess it's got to be Daniel Dubois. If not Daniel, then it's between Joseph Parker and Ajit Caballo, because they've both put in the work to prove it. Now, again, there's a lot of fights that neither guy have had to prove that, but those will probably be the list I would have as the next ones. Supplements is just a lazy excuse. I mean, I hear it. My fantasy fight for that league would be Tony Montana versus Canelo. Okay. All athletes should send all supplements for pre-testing. An option opens them. That's true. But okay, I've got a question for you. Do you think that they should send the supplements, like the batch of the supplements, or the actual supplements they're about to take? Because the only problem is, obviously, if you send all of the supplements for pre-testing, you might not get those test results back for like a week, 2 weeks, and that's eating into camp time. So would you say get a batch and get the batch number sent in for them prior to fight camp? How would you look at that? The lesser paid keep and document samples of everything they take. Yeah, although they require a lot of freezer space for that. You really give Smith a chance against Benavidez. Bad style matchup. He'll get outworked and overrun. Well, it's an interesting take. Would Crawford beating Canelo be considered an upset? Yes, it would be considered an upset, but not a massive one. I think the odds for that fight are not astronomical. I don't think I've seen any 16-1 for Crawford versus 2 to 9 for Canelo kind of thing. So I think the odds are much closer than that. I think Crawford must be maybe 3-1, with Canelo being something like 13-20. The entire batch that you are going to take, send in with time enough for return, and you basically had your supplements pre-approved. Sure. Take a batch of supplements for check-in and use them for the camp. Yeah, I hear that. Use only pre-approved supplements, not ones you bought in the back alley. I mean, even with saying that, the pre-approved ones, I've known of pre-approved supplements from that are approved by WADA, that then get flagged by VADA's list, because VADA's actual list is a lot more comprehensive than the WADA and like the UCAD and the USADA one. So there's certain things that is on there that is not on the WADA list, um, and it's weird. It's just I've seen some pre-approved supplements and then they still get flagged, and it's like it's not contamination. There's just a supplement in there that is on VADA's list but isn't on WADA's. So I think the first thing they need to do is get all the lists synced up. You are not allowed to have these, whatever they are, and make sure that every list is the same. Then you only buy like WADA approved or whatever supplements. Call me biased to my countrymen, but Callum can kill David to the body. There's one thing Callum can do, it's bang to the body. I 100% agree with you there, Emma. That fight, look, if you look at his fight with if you look at the Buatsi fight and the way that he fought in that one, and also the fight he fought prior to that, because the guy that he fought prior to Buatsi, while he wasn't any great shakes, he was a pressure fighter, very similar to how David Benavidez is. And if you look at the way he fought him and the work he did, you can see how he could beat David Benavidez. Not saying he will, but you can see how he could. Okay, well, look, we've been going for like an hour 15 coming up now. The guest hasn't arrived, so I'm going to have to, I guess, sort out another separate stream for that guest. I won't tell anyone who it is just yet, but we will do that moving forward. I've got a couple guests actually that I'm planning on bringing through. I just have to decide how I'm going to be able to, because I don't get in on this new platform I'm using, the record. I've only got a certain amount of time I'm allowed to record for and save. So I literally have to record a guest, download it, then delete it, and then record again, kind of thing, which is a bit annoying. Whereas before I could just have multiple recordings back to back and just put them out when I choose. But yeah, there will be, over the next month, there should be at least 5 guests on the channel. Fairly big names, or names that you will know at least, and maybe one future big name. But yeah, I will let you guys know about that at a later date. So we're going to go for, say, 5 more minutes, get the rest of the chat in, and then everyone can enjoy their night. I'm going to go and have a shower because the level of sweat coming off me right now and for the last few hours since my last shower ain't great. So I need to feel nice and clean before I head off to bed. Actually, I've got a couple more comments coming in, so bear me 1 second. Star Fox, Napa moving like Eubank Senior when it comes to appearing on this stream. Shout out to Napa. He definitely will be appearing on the stream at some point. Actually, there might be a whole bunch of Napa's gang. I need to have a follow-up with Brandon Glanton, because you guys remember he spoke very, very spicy on the chat we done last time. So he might have to come and answer for some of those. Even though he came back with a win the other day, there's him. I will be getting Tevin Farmer on here at some point. Blair Cobbs, Blair the Flair, he'll definitely be on the show. Maybe Connor Coyle, might get Connor Coyle back on. I want to try and get Khalil Coe on. I want to get Ray Ford on. I want to try and get Richardson Hitchens on here. I mean, we've already had Shakur on the channel, so he probably won't be back anytime soon. Bill Haney will be on the channel. I'm going to give him a call over the weekend. A few other people. Yeah, I'm going to try and get a few people on some of these live streams to answer some questions from you guys as well. Humid days, 100%. Okay, who's your favorite prospect in the UK? and in the US. Mine would be Visioli and Khalil Cole. Well, Khalil Cole's always been like one of my go-to guys, but prospects, um, I guess it depends on where you class them, because I would have said Abdullah Mason, but technically he's a contender now. He's about to fight for a title. So I'll probably say Zaquin Moses from the US. And on the UK side of things, probably Pat Brown. Visioli, Giorgio Visioli is alright. Him, I quite like. I like his style, but he doesn't really like do much for me in that sense. But yeah, Pat Brown, I'd probably say, because he's going to be moved fairly fast. Big up Woodrow Blanton. Yeah, like I said, he's got some crimes to answer for. But shout out to Brandon. Like he's a good guy otherwise. All right, last set of probably last comments coming up now. But yeah, look, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for rocking with me today. Kept it nice and casual. When we've got some more targeted streams, some rants to come and all of that stuff, I will definitely be letting you guys know. But for right now, yeah, look, thank you very much for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. I will catch you on the next one, which will probably be Basis Picks tomorrow. But until then, it's Hardcore Casual out.
Maybe I'ma make it, maybe I'm not. In time we'll see. But who better than me? I don't care if you agree. I ain't saying that I'm better than anyone. But who better than me?